On this episode of Delivering Marketing Joy, we talk with Megan Zezzo from S&S about what it's like to be a rising star. Well, hey there, and welcome to another edition of Delivering Marketing Joy. I'm your host, Kirby Hasseman, and I'm very excited today to have a brand new guest with me, Megan Zezzo, who's National Accounts Manager for S&S. It's a new role, and Megan's taken the time to join me. Thank you, Megan. I appreciate you taking the time.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
For sure. So we talked there about the fact that you're taking on a new role. So first, congratulations.
Thank you.
It's a big step. So why did you decide to make the move, and how do you know when it's the time to make a change?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a great question. I was truly given an opportunity with S&S that I really couldn't pass up. They're a top 10 supplier in the industry, and they've been growing rapidly. So when they approached me about having to put together this national account team, I was definitely intrigued because I've been working on national accounts the past couple of years. Just being able to continue to work with those customers and build and maintain those relationships, I was very excited about. So it's definitely an opportunity for me, and timing-wise, it may not always be the perfect time in your life, especially mine right now with getting married and building a house. So overall, it's an awesome opportunity, and I really couldn't pass it up.
Well, it sounds like it's kind of a new challenge for you too, which is always exciting, right?
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah. Cool. So one of the things I wanted to talk to you about is, you were named a rising star like last year, and I kind of picture you as part of the younger generation of stars in our industry. So I wanted to ask you, how do you see the promotional industry changing as it moves forward? Do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, absolutely. And you were also named Rising Star, I think, the same year, so congratulations. I think our industry is growing and evolving daily. I think it's really important to stay in front of our customers and find different, unique ways to do that. But the acquisitions are going to continue to happen. It's getting more and more competitive. So I think on both the supplier side and distributor side with acquisitions, it's just us finding and creating new ways to maintain those customer relationships, and staying in front of technology, I think, is really, really important too.
Yeah. So, what I hear you saying is kind of like, hey, there's new school ways of getting in front of people, but old school idea of, look, we need to continue to build relationships. We need to continue to stand out. I mean, those things have been since the beginning of time, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So third question for you, and this is one I wanted to kind of dig in with you, is you came into this business with a pretty well-known dad, in interest of full disclosure, a good friend of mine, Dana. But I think you've done a great job of sort of building your own brand. And so what have you done, whether it's been intentionally or unintentionally, to build that kind of personal brand and stand out?
Yeah, he's done a really awesome job, and I am so grateful to have him as a mentor in my life. But I think throughout the years, I was a little nervous getting into it at the beginning, just because everyone's like, you have such big shoes to fill, and how is this going to work? But being able to work together and having that opportunity for a couple of years, really, I understand now why he does what he does and why he loves this industry. Yeah. So I think just the support from kind of growing up in the industry and having other distributors and suppliers all want to see me succeed is really motivating to me. Yeah. Overall, I think just maybe taking this position at S&S and continuing to grow on our own paths will definitely help me to continue to build that brand.
Yeah, for sure. Now, has that been, and again, I'm going off script here a little bit, Megan, so I apologize, but I'm curious. I mean, was that something that you were intentional about, where you're like, look, I need to be Megan, not somebody else's daughter?
Not necessarily, because he's really good at being in the limelight and being present and being, just very full of energy. And I'm really good at the backside of things, whether it's following up or notes or extremely organized. So we worked really well together, and I was definitely okay, being in that shadow for a little while, and I don't really look at it like that. I absolutely loved working with him because I just learned so much. So, no, it's not that I need to, have to make a name for myself. But overall, it's just worked out really well for both of us, and we continue to have an awesome relationship, business and personal. But yeah, he's just been such a great mentor. So
That's cool. That's cool. Well, I appreciate you answering my 3 questions. We got through those at lightning speed. Everybody gets a chance to ask me one. Do you have one for me?
yeah, absolutely. So, what is the most difficult part as a distributor when supplier reps switch companies?
Oh, wow. That's a great question. Well, it's kind of twofold. So our business very much is built, and you know this. Our business tends to follow our relationships, and
Right.
so, like for example, a peer of yours now is Carrie Crusoe, and she was with another supplier. And when she went to SNS, we actually weren't doing much at all with SNS, but because we have a relationship with her, we do more with SNS now, right? Because the business follows the relationship. And so challenge number 1 is learning an entire new supplier, because SNS is a unique, it's a different animal of the one we were dealing with before. So that's number 1, is you're kind of, because you have an allegiance to the folks when they move, you have to sort of learn a new line and get comfortable with how they do business. The second part, and the one that's actually, I think, harder, is where the gap is. So in other words, when the person that you really like leaves, then often there's a hole there, because you're still doing business with that supplier because you've developed that. But now you don't know who to reach out to. You don't know who to, quite frankly, ask for favors. You don't know who to, if there's a problem, you don't know who to go with. And so that's really, that continuity on the back end, I think, is the biggest issue with it. But yeah, I think that's a challenge. Like you talked about acquisitions, right? I think that the moving around of supplier reps is another thing that's just going to continue for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, cool. You've made it through your first Delivering Marketing Joy, and I appreciate you taking the time.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, we'll do it again, okay?
Okay, absolutely. Have a good day.
All right.